Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Wills. So I want to first and foremost say thank you guys for being some of the best supporters I've ever had. Whether you're subscribed or not, it's been a good ride. I appreciate all the support I've gotten over the years, and it's been a lot of fun. But I'm going to do this Samsung Galaxy S7 review, and then that's going to be my official sign-off. YouTube has been great to me. I'll still be online watching everybody's videos and things like that. I'll still be on Google+, and I'll be on Twitter. It's time to go ahead and get this review going for the Samsung Galaxy S7. I've held off long as I could of using it, and it's really a successful device in my eyes. So let's get into this. So when I first started reviewing phones on YouTube, I used to have a checklist that I would go down, and it was a very simple checklist. I would talk about the design, the features, the price, the options, the web browsing, the camera, the speed of the devices as far as software and things go, and battery life. But over time, I've changed the way my style of review is, and I've kind of just given it to you as is, or how I want to do it at the time. But this time, I'm going to go back to the old style and kind of give you a rundown of how I feel about the Galaxy S7 at this moment. Galaxy S7 obviously is one of the most powerful devices on the market, and when I say powerful, I mean really powerful. This thing has 577 pixels per inch. That is a beautiful pixel per inch for anyone who's concerned about how crystal clear or sharp their screen is going to be. This phone definitely does the trick. At 1440 by 2560, that's one of the sharpest resolutions on a screen to date. Has a 12 megapixel camera on the back, 4 gigs of RAM, and a 3000 milliamp hour battery. You just can't beat that. You can get this in a 32. It says a 64 too, but I've yet to see that. But you do have an SD card slot. This is the T-Mobile variant, obviously. This phone weighs in at 152 grams. Super lightweight. Even with a case on it, it still just feels really good. And it's 7.9 millimeters in thickness. So that is a very thin phone with a very big battery and some killer specs. For the techies, it does have Corning Gorilla Glass 4. This has the Snapdragon 820 in it, so performance thing is there. Adreno 530, I believe, is in here. I do have a 200 gig card in here, and I think that's probably all the techie stuff I would want to discuss. But the front camera, I will say, is a great camera. It is a 5 megapixel camera, and it's a 1.7 aperture, just like the 12 megapixel on the back. So you can get some really, really, really good footage with the front-facing camera on here. I mean, it is really good. It records just as good as the rear camera. Fingerprint reader, gyroscope, and all that, accelerometer, proximity sensor, all the good stuff. Wireless charging, fast wireless charging, quick charge 2.0. You can get 60% of battery life in 30 minutes, it claims. And I would say that it definitely charges pretty fast. So design-wise, I think Samsung did a phenomenal job. The phone is waterproof. It has a fingerprint reader, very sleek, very thin, with a 3000 milliamp hour battery in there. Camera mount is kind of flush in the back now. Fingerprint reader is really flush. The power key is positioned correctly, and the volume rocker is positioned just right. So if you're a righty or a lefty, it probably wouldn't matter. On a screen that's 5.1 inches, I don't know that web browsing would be difficult, I would say, because I've got phones that are 4 inches that I feel they're sufficient. But currently, I've been using my iPhone 6s and this phone side by side, and it just feels great. Web browsing on here, no problems at all. You get a lot of screen resolution there. And let me see here. Let's go to GSM Arena, one of my favorite spots. And you can see how it loads GSM Arena. It's really good. I could switch to the mobile to the full website version, but it's really not necessary. Shout out to Tony for making a guest appearance in the video. Tony P. I'll get back to you, Tony. But web browsing is really good on here. The cameras is where this phone shines a lot. Let me get something to take a picture of. Some bananas. Let me grab my cup of tea here. Shout out to Tony once again for making a guest appearance. But The camera is really, really good. I've yet to see a lot of phones that can produce good camera quality like the Samsung Galaxy Note line. It is one of the best, and the detail on here is super clear. If you can see how I can keep zooming, you can see every little nook and cranny of the plastic. I didn't even actually know there was plastic on around there, but I see that now. It's just the lining of the plastic is right there. I didn't even notice that with my naked eye. Nonetheless, video recording, 4K, 60 frames per second. I love it. 60 frames per second at 1080p, 4K at 30 frames per second. But you know, this camera is probably going to be one of the most vibrant and punchy cameras you can use, most color accurate cameras as far as my eyes can see on how a camera should be used on how it should be put on a cell phone, I would say. Software wise, it's the same old TouchWiz. It's either a hate or a love thing. You know, it's just one of those things that either you're going to like TouchWiz or you're going to take it off and put another launcher on there. And I prefer TouchWiz, but TouchWiz has these themes right here, and so I can make any theme that I want, and I really, really, really enjoy that. You just long press here, and you can go to the theme store, and I just have the one Android N theme on there. I just changed the wallpaper. But there's tons of themes that you could actually purchase, and you can actually get a lot of them free. The list just goes on and on. I mean, there is a gang of themes on here that you could get for your phone. You can even change the font and everything. So going into the settings here, you can see it kind of looks like the stock Android look here with this theme. But let me show you storage here. I have 32 gigs available, and I have 46, basically 47 gigs of the 183 gigs available on my SD card. But you know, storage on here, with it being waterproof and an SD card, is a huge plus because, you know, I don't like to wear a case on certain phones because this one feels so good. But however, I have been using one of my Caseology cases for this device because it's so slippery, and I don't really want to do a D brand on this phone. The size of the phone is, to me, perfect. It's running 6.0 by the way, 6.0.1 by the way. But the size of this phone is just perfect to me. It's a really good size, 5.1. Some people, oh, it's too small. I bought the Galaxy S7 Edge a while back, and you know, it's not a big phone, but this phone to me is offering pretty much the same thing as the S7 Edge, and you get a much more pocketable phone. I really like it. It does have the heart rate monitor and things back there. I don't really use those things anymore. But I have recently been using the always on feature, and it hasn't been sipping as much battery as it did when I first got the phone. Because I've had this for a while now, and it hasn't been really sipping too much battery like it did initially. But I will tell you that overall, the Samsung Galaxy Note, the Samsung Galaxy S7 is a phone that I would definitely tell a lot of people to get. If you're not going to use the Edge features, get this phone right here if you're trying to decide between the two. Hands down, I mean, I would definitely recommend that you grab this one. If you're not gonna, the Edge features are nice, but if you're just really not gonna use those features a lot, grab this and save yourself $100. I think it's $100 difference or about $80 difference. But I would definitely recommend this phone over several other phones. When I compare it to the G5, I would definitely recommend this phone over the G5. Battery life on this phone is a little bit better than the G5, and you know, the G5 was a unique design in its own. Modularity, modular design is the selling point of that phone, and the cameras on the G5 are really good, but I don't think they measure up to the cameras on this device right here. The G5 has a 5.3-inch display. This is a 5.1, and then the G5 is a lot bigger than this phone, even though it has just a little bit bigger display. It's a little bit thicker. When I put my Caseology case on my G5, it makes it feel a lot bigger than what it really is. And with this phone right here, man, I can definitely throw this in any pocket and won't even know it's there. One drawback, if you're looking for some cons, I would say definitely the speaker is extremely low compared to when it was not waterproof. That's not really a letdown, I guess I want to say, but I don't like to wear headphones all the time, but I find myself wearing Bluetooth to really get the sound, or plugging in to get the sound and feel from this device. But you know, the speaker is just not very loud at all. It can get the job done, but you won't hear this in a crowded room at all. Another thing is, I found myself using my IR blaster on my G5, and they took away the IR blaster. Samsung, why they took it away, I have no clue. But that's kind of a drawback for me because I've been using the G5's IR blaster a lot more lately for some reason. I don't have to look for a remote. I just get the G5, hit the remote, boom, done. And I've got it programmed to all the TVs in the house. That's another thing. But I don't know why they took it away. It's something so simple as an IR blaster. But I think there's software that can enhance the speaker quality on here. But since it's waterproof, it still won't be nearly as loud as other phones in the same bracket. It's a flagship phone. But that was definitely, to me, something that they should have thought to. But you really can't do anything about it because it's waterproof. But anyway, as I was talking about body and everything, this phone is way too slippery. And I'd love to buy a D-brand skin, but you know, I like to have a case on my phone, you know, for nicks and scratches around the edges. Seems like that's where it happens. The nicks and chips come around the edges, and this is a very small phone, so there's a lot of cases like this one from Caseology that can help that. This is an extremely slippery phone, and it's just, you know, that's a part of the build quality that I wish it was kind of a matte version or something like that. That's where the G5 wins in that area when it comes to the touch and feel. This phone is way too slippery. Just think about it, if you wash your hands and you put some lotion on and then you pick up this phone, it is extremely slippery. The US didn't get the silver titanium version of this phone. There is a silver titanium version of this phone, but it's the unlocked Model F version. It will work on T-Mobile, but you know, I already got this one, so you know, I'm not gonna switch again just because of a color. I learned a lesson about switching because of colors with the G5. But nonetheless, this phone is good. Does it have its drawbacks? Yeah, the build on it, it's a little slippery. I really don't care for that. The speaker quality is nowhere near as loud as what I would like. And I think that kind of rounds it out for me, you know. And in the IR blaster, it's important to me now because I started using it on my G5. At first it wasn't too, I kind of brushed it off and said, oh, you know, IR blaster's nothing. But after you get to use it for a while, and it's convenient to hold a small little phone in your hand with all the functionality of a TV remote, it's pretty comfortable, and it's something that you can get used to. So not having the IR blaster on here kind of sucks. I mean, I have a Note 5, I have other devices that have an IR blaster, and I don't know, I don't know, I wish they would have put it on this one because it is small. So it would have been a nice feature to have on here. Nonetheless, that is my full review for the Galaxy S7. Once again, I appreciate you guys' support on the channel, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm not going anywhere. Take care, guys.